technically playing the game yet. In fact, I clicked start in the middle of that sentence, so it's not even going to make sense. But anyways, um, so we're still waiting for Yarott to get in Roll20, which is never going to happen. Uh,
So,
we're waiting for
Is
Caro to get in Roll20. Caro,
It's loading now.
yeah, is it? Is it? Is it?
It it's taking a day and
Yeah,
when
that's
it's
fine.
loading.
Pata, you're muted. I don't know if you knew you were muted, but you're muted.
Muted.
And there's some things that we start the game off with, which are in the top right corner of the screen. And as soon as everybody's here, we can start that.
so
Great.
guess what?
Wait, initiating music. What's up, Robert?
I'm gonna be Mog.
Nice. That's the best. Because you and Shen have fought. All right. So, here in the game of Stewpot, we gotta run a tavern, guys. And the tavern doesn't want to be run, but we gotta make it. So, this game is a sequence of smaller games that are Mario Party-esque, I think. I kind of glossed over some of them and don't really understand how they're played, but we'll figure it out on the way, right? So, the point is that a game represents a period of time. It suggests a month. You could go with a season, like a winter or a summer thing, or a week if you think we're going to be playing a lot of games. What do you guys think? I'm good with months. Months sound good. One game represents 1 month. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alright. One game represents
Pata doesn't sound
one.
muted on my end.
Oh, she might be muted personally for me because I'm hilarious. There it is. Hi, Pata. Alright. One game represents 1 month. Ex-adventurers. I am playing Shen. Robert is playing Mog. Who are you playing, Caro?
I'll play Dara. It's too.
Caro's playing Terra. Pata, who would you like to play?
Unrelated, unrelated character, I guess.
What's her name? His name. Their name.
Uh, uh, yeah. Who do I want to play?
I wish
Um,
Stuart was here. Leo would be a good cook for this tab.
Leo would be too good of a cook for this tavern. Leo's probably going to be an NPC.
Awick.
uh,
Sorry, Pata, go on.
yeah. I'll do. No, that's. No, she's. Frick. Her?
Who?
I should have planned this out better.
I didn't plan out anything, and I'm running it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what? Sure. I'll do me. I'll do Mira. Do a girl named Mira. So.
Shen, Mog, Terra, Mira, and Yaroth. Who is your character's name?
I'll just use the throwaway one from the first campaign.
Alright, handouts. In players'
By the way,
journals. All
by the way,
players.
I've been trying to ask you this, but well, So,
What?
anyways, what? Hmm.
Hmm.
But like, how crazy am I allowed to get with the technology level for this techno breaker?
Yeah, as crazy as you want.
Okay, you asked for it.
Cyberpunk Industrial Revolution is the limit.
Pata. Devil Breakers.
Bwah, bwah. Okay,
later.
Caro and Robert, I've given you both character sheets. I'm working on giving you one, Pata. It's very bare bones. There's no structure. It's just something to write things down in.
Gotcha.
I want a Techno Breaker who has a robot arm, and every time he activates it, it just pumps Devil Trigger out of a speaker.
That's actually that's accommodated by the setting.
Oh my god.
I am sure. Don't worry, I have a lot of
should have
Crickets.
probably made this a little more aesthetically pleasing. Hey,
Oh, I didn't have it on repeat. Zounds.
Bio and info. Name. Edit.
Okay, so. Yarott, what's your character's name?
Yarott.
Yarott. And what
Ah,
is
whatever.
what is our tavern's name going to be?
Call it something memorable.
Welcome to the salty spittoon. How tough are you?
Are we doing salty spittoon?
No.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
All right, salty spittoon it is.
Hell yeah.
All right, and where is our tavern located? Are we in a city? Are we in the environment somewhere where only coming and going adventurers are going to pass us by? Are we accommodating citizens?
In the highest mountain peaks.
We're in the highest mountain
No.
peaks.
No.
We're in the darkest mountain caves. We're in the biggest
That would
mountain
actually be a really
forests.
hilarious location because, like, how would we have gotten there? Why would we be there?
That's a good question.
So
Let's
yeah,
be
I'd
there.
actually-
Are we in a small
I would actually
town?
agree on something extremely, I'd actually agree to something very.
All right.
unorthodox like
All right. So something unorthodox. I'm a fan of in the caves, just somewhere.
Inside a dungeon.
Oh, no. Like, come on.
They're not
Middle
kicking
of
us
the
off.
No, not
Middle
inside,
of
but
the ocean.
besides it.
Oh, middle of the ocean. We're a floating tavern.
Oh, that would be cool. We're a ship that we're
What
like a
about
ship.
what
We're
about
like
under
a
the sea?
tavern.
Well, that's where the in rooms are, clearly.
Clear.
We're
No,
doing a
if
ship
if
tavern.
we're gonna be a ship tavern, we're a ship tavern. There's none of this magic under the ocean bullshit going on. We're just
Oh,
flagging
yeah.
down other ships, convincing them we're not pirates, and then making them pay us to come aboard. Okay, wait, this doesn't make any sense, guys.
It kind of makes sense. I am
Who
reminded of One
cares?
Piece.
It's hilarious.
Okay,
Hillary.
Do you
we have a
need-
base. No, we run a tavern on a like small resort island. We're
Okay,
basically
yeah,
a
I'm
resort.
down. I'm down for a resort island. Resort island sounds great, where we're the only building.
Yeah.
Okay, so solitary resort island. Tavern appearance. All right. Everyone gets to contribute a detail to the tavern appearance. I'm gonna say that on this solitary resort island, there's a lot of there's a whole bunch of like really colorful, huge clams built into and around the tavern, and just around the island in general, in like pinks and baby blues and indigos and greens. What's a detail somebody else wants to contribute?
Let's see. The only way on and off the island is a surprisingly large dock for an island of the size. Island of this size, made out of what looks to be white marble and carved with reliefs of sea nymphs and gods.
Ooh.
Holy crap! Making me
What?
work.
Sorry, I'm
It's okay. Mine, huge, colorful clams everywhere. I might need you to go over that again, Pat. So solitary dock is the
It's a surprising.
only
is a
way
s-
on and
Yeah.
off,
Surprisingly or-
constructed of a brilliant white marble carved with sea nymphs, gods, and goddesses. Is that good?
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
All right. What's your detail for the tavern appearance?
The tavern itself, the structure of it is basically a upturned boat, just a boat turned upside down.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Caro.
Big ass boat turned upside down.
Caro, what's your tavern
There is a
detail?
story behind it.
So, like, on the inside, it's just clearly an abandoned pirate ship.
No, I love this. I no, you guys don't understand. I love this. I'm loving this so much right now.
All right, Yarott, what's your detail? No pressure.
It was a warship.
Yeah,
It was a pirate warship.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
haunted?
It's armed.
It's armed.
I should hope. Abandoned pirate warship.
So does it have like cannons sticking out of the walls, or are there like armed mines underneath some creaky floorboards, or?
It cannons.
With cannons sticking out of walls in each of the chambers.
It also has arms on the bow.
Wait, it literally has arms?
Yes.
what?
Also literally has
It's a friendly
arms?
mimic.
I didn't say it is alive.
Alright, so our tavern appearance. Huge colorful clams are everywhere. The solitary dock is the only way on and off, constructed of a brilliant white marble carved with sea nymphs, gods, and goddesses. The tavern itself is an upturned boat. On the inside, it's clearly just an abandoned pirate ship, an armed pirate warship with cannons sticking out of walls in each of the chambers. It also literally has arms. Alright, so our tavern...
Crossed arms.
Crossed arms. Great.
This is the
Are
greatest
these
goddamn
arms
thing.
on the outside of the hull or the inside?
Yeah, outside on the bow.
So we can pick up, the travelers and just be like, "Hey, you're coming."
I don't think the arms move. I think they're just there.
Just
Okay, so
decoration. It's just decoration.
Hey,
All right.
Are they? Wait, how are they positioned? Like, are they just crossed above the door to the door to the tavern?
How do you cross your arms?
You've heard of the crossed swords, and now welcome to the crossed arms pirate.
Maybe the tavern, like, opening up is the arms uncrossing with a lever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And then, like, goading them in with, like, an antagonizing hand wave. Alright,
Oh,
so
mechanical arms then.
our tavern ratings are they're in 3 categories. We have our cuisine, our atmosphere, our service. So I don't think a former farmhand or an injured local guard work here. So we're gonna change those two. Who's helping us out? We've got a named NPC.
Well, how big is this island that it's stranded
It's pretty small, I would say, right? We're the only building. Let's say we're the only safe island in an archipelago that is that's got a bunch of treasure. So we have a lot of adventurers coming around, and we're like, all right, we should set up shop here. We'll make a lot of buck on people either coming in looking for the fortunes or leaving with what they've won, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So who the hell is helping us run this?
So, instead of a former farmhand, we have a drunk old fisherman.
Ah,
A drunk
or not necessarily
fisherman.
drunk old fisherman, but like one of the old what's not the word, not like a native of this area before all the adventurers came, all the adventurers and pirates came and stuff.
All right, and
Started
and
appearing
an indigenous forager maybe.
yeah.
All right. Next one could be
And
a
then- and-
retired Navy Confederate guy from.
Sounds like Leo Bonanza.
Yay!
All right, so we got in contact with Leo. He's like, "Yeah, I'll head your kitchens," and we got him to come along with us. By we, I mean Shen, Mog, and Terra. We picked up Mira and Yarott along the way. All right, so terms. We've got smoke breaks, which are optional after a game or done by everyone before wear and tear. A smoke break is basically a period of time to think about things, to sort of deliberate on maybe something your character wants to do or how you want to progress going forward. And a hold is more immediate. It's called out anytime by any player to figure something out immediately, initiated by calling hold. So you would do it verbally. Maybe if something needs to be gone over in the middle of a game, you would call hold and we'd figure something out, right? So that's what those two terms are. And then the rest of the game is basically us just starting off with playing the games. It comes there's some structure to it. The first game we play is called the first step. Before you decided to put down roots here, before you found this group of friends, what were you doing? What was the first thing you learned about how to live in town? Setup. Everyone plays. Every character gains one town experience. Take turns describing a short scene that led to that experience. Another player or players might come with you, although they do not gain that same experience. If you're stuck, choose one of the options below. So I don't think we're going to be able to pick many options because this is a very outlandish setting. So basically, we're going to go, let's say we go down the Discord VC list, and we start with the person who's below the rhythm bot. So we'll start with Robert, and he needs to figure out what town job he wants Mog to be doing here on this island. How Mog is going to interpolate himself into society.
Dinner? Now? Give me a second.
No
Give me a
problem.
hot minute. You guys could go on without me for now. Say I joined you guys later.
That's fine.
Um,
So what does Mog want to be?
I was thinking he would either be a chef or a guard.
All right. So I guess the first step is you figuring out what leads Mog to wanting to become either a chef or a guard. So set the scene. Anybody who wants to go with you, I'd like Shen to go with you just because I want to play. And yeah, figure out what's going down. Set the scene for
The
everyone.
accent going again. I apologize for everyone.
What's up,
who lives
Robert?
in
I'm
Yarott.
Mog.
No, this is Morgan. You don't know how to do it right.
Oh God.
He was British? All this time, he was British.
I'll be
Yes.
honest. Not even I knew.
He had this thing where he changed his voice, and I explained it in canon by having him just basically have the worst loogie of all time caught in his throat. So that's why his voice was off for the longest while. Eric doesn't remember it at all.
I guess not.
Well, I'm surprised.
Before we continue, Yarott, have you figured out who your character is? Like, do you have a rough idea of who you're playing? All I need is a yes.
All I need is context. I don't know what I'm doing.
So, we each have a character. You're playing Yarott. Yarott needs to... He's an ex-adventurer, so he has an adventuring job. Oh, you can't see these. So there's Paladin, there's Wizard, there's Fighter, there's Rogue, there's Druid, there's Bard, there's Ranger, and there's Swashbuckler. Which of those do you think Yarott would fall under?
Well, he was a bard last time.
Alright, great. So you have 3 Bard experiences. Are you ready to write these down after you pick one? After you pick them?
Yeah.
Alright,
I
so...
got it. I did.
So you can come up with your own. It's basically just things Yarott picked up along the way that led to his success as a bard. Examples are Bag of Tricks, which is card magic, juggling clubs or other spectacles, Devil's Fingers, prodigious skill with an instrument, alluring voice, the voice of an angel, golden words, can convince anyone of anything, and inspiration, power up your friends.
Well, we do know that 2 of those are not something he has.
That's true. He does not have an alluring voice. Or golden words.
Or a voice.
Exactly. You can also make up your own experiences. And you can sort of do that on your own time. You don't need us to wait for you.
Okay then. Well, Just we could put on inspiration.
Okay. Robert, are you thinking about how Mog wants to become a guard?
Yep.
All right.
Inspiration, devil's fingers, and
The
I
last
don't
one
know.
was bag of tricks. If you don't want bag of tricks, you can come up with something else.
Yeah, I can probably do something about dead people.
Okay, so back to Robert then. Set the scene. What are we looking at here? Shen's gonna be here. Is anyone else coming along?
All right. Do we have quick question?
What's up?
We got drunk fisherman, an indigenous forager, and Leo himself.
Yes.
All right. So, what if one of these three NPCs technically owns the building,
All right. It's probably the indigenous forager.
and the indigenous forager has this building, and they seem like they're trying to jumpstart something, and it's going well to start with, but with the quote-unquote gold rush of adventurers coming in trying to find their fortune in this archipelago, you have all sorts of adventurers ranging from white to black to gray. Long and short of it is that you got some really nasty elements that come in with all the not so nasty
So
elements.
basically,
And it
he's
just so
gonna sell himself as a bouncer.
basically,
All
I
right.
mean, he's a guard, and there's only this one building on this island.
So the indigenous forager, this is probably before we've established it as the salty spittoon. He's out tidying things up. He's trying to repair some boards. He's oh man, how bad do I want to go? He's got some bone armor that's got some trailing feather motifs that are sort of laid off by threading and leaves, and he's got a big naturally carved spear on his back with a net. And Mog and Shen are approaching. Shen's not really sure why we're here, but Mog looks to have a pretty clear idea. So the indigenous forager stands up, sort of looks over his shoulder at the two of us, and scoots forward. What's up?
Hello there. Name's Mog of the Laughing Steel. It's a clan name. This here's Shen, and we're looking for any stable opportunity.
Shen sort of like he just sighs. Here.
Right, stable opportunity.
Shen face palms a little bit. Opportunity, you say? He sort of takes the spear off of his back and prods the sand in between you. What are you proposing here?
Well, thing is, you got a lot of adventurers coming through these parts, and we're kind of not about that. Well, I'm kind of getting on in my ears and just kind of looking for a place to settle down.
He takes another look at his big building that he owns for some reason, and then back at you.
Now, I couldn't help but notice that you got a nice little upturned boat there.
It's my house.
Well, it's a very nice upturned boathouse, and well, it seems like you're fixing up a good bit. Do you need a handyman? Perhaps? Couple handymen?
Shen takes a step away from Mog. Leave me out of this. The forager says, "You say handymen, but what's with those?" And he points to your forearms with your big unorthodox weapons wrapped around them.
Ah, these.
What exactly
These
what do you fix up with those?
Um, I fix aggressive problems.
Ah! All right. Yep, I'm in. If you're gonna help me with the rowdy folk coming through, yeah, I'm game. He steps forward. Nice to meet you. I'm 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 Michael Pratt. Call me Mickey.
Nice to meet you, Mickey, and it's good to be on board. You won't regret it.
Ah, on board! Ah! He does a bunch of finger guns at you. Ah! Shen sighs.
Shen, why don't you introduce yourself?
No. Shen looks over his shoulder. The others should be showing up soon. Let's fix the place up before they get here. Yeah.
Anyway, that's Shen. He likes to be all dark and mysterious. It's his thing. Don't mind it too much. He's harmless.
I'm very harmful. He just starts walking towards the door. Alright, so scene end. You gain an experience as a guard, and you take it away from your adventurer experience.
Okay. Let me bring up my document here. Attributes and abilities.
Alright,
fire
next.
info.
Next is me. Alright, so what's Shen's adventurer job? I haven't even figured that out. He's probably a rogue. And the town job that I want to give Shen is Shen's gonna try and be a priest. So we'll say that the experience I'm gonna go for this say nothing, heathen. So he's going to go towards being a priest, and he's going to start this with attempting to become more amicable around people. Who wants to be in this scene?
I'll go for it. I gotta bite those.
Alright, we're going to play this. So Tara's going to be in the scene. Who else? Anyone? Just Tara?
Come on, Yarott, step up.
Pat is still not here.
Sad. I mean, I'll spot in.
Alright,
for
so Mog's going to
these
be here as well.
cowards.
Alright, so Shen, Mog, and Terra. The scene is the tavern's just barely been established as the Salty Spittoon, and we haven't had any patrons yet, but everything's been set up using the indigenous forager Michael Mickey Pratt's funds. So, Shen sort of awkwardly approaches you, Mog, and says, "Hey, can I see you in one of the back rooms for a second?" And Tara, you see this pretty easily, seeing as how you're probably tidying up one of the bars somewhere.
Alright, so real quick, I'm just going over town experiences as a guard and swapping something for another thing.
No problem. You can also very easily just make one up because this is a very unconventional tavern.
We're gonna go. Master of Arms is gonna translate to back of the blade.
All right.
Because I figure that if he is so good with all sorts of different weapons, he at least knows how to use them with finesse.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so he's now outfitted in some tough-looking guard gear instead of like his fucking trash hobo robes, and even has like a fancy little cape to signify his importance. It's basically a piece of the pirate flag that got torn off. He refashioned it.
There's a little
Into-
crab hanging off the corner.
Yep, he kind of refashioned it into a single shoulder cape. Right, what can I do for you, Chief?
He nods towards one of the doors to the back that's slightly ajar and slowly leads you there. Tara, you follow just because you're in the scene.
Yeah, she creeps along.
So, Shen has set up some candles and a weird little ritual circle that kind of comes off as a little creepy, but it's also a little shoddy, as if it was probably Shen's 4th or 5th attempt, but it's far from perfect. And he takes a couple steps in, he turns towards you, and he sort of gives a half-hearted little splay of the hands. What do you think? Cool little religious prayer chamber, right?
You're not planning on sacrificing the big boss's blood in some dark ritual to summon those demons from Izuni, what do you call them? Are you?
I'm planning on meditating in here.
Oh, I'm good at that.
He sighs and he scratches the back of his neck. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't even bother. And he goes over and he starts
No, hold on. You want your big old pal Mog's advice on how to reach a spiritual center, right?
Well, no, I just wanted to show somebody the room. Is it something you're good at?
Where's...
All right.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hello,
So
welcome
just to give you some context on what's happening, we're doing what is called the first step, which is us going around and figuring out how to transfer one of our adventuring experiences into a town experience, into a town job, right? We're trying to get our characters to become situated in society, even though this is a weird little solitary resort island society. Robert went first. Mog is transferring from being whatever he was into being a fighter into being a guard. And so the scene was we happened upon the tavern. It's a building that was originally owned by an indigenous forager named Michael Pratt, who calls himself Mickey. Mog offered to waylay some of the more aggressive adventurers that came his way and sort of act as a bouncer for the island, and the indigenous forager jumped right onto that idea. And so now we're basically leasing the place under the forager, Mickey, who is technically our landlord. So Mog now has 1 experience as a guard and only 2 as a fighter. Next we're doing Shen, and then after me we'll be doing Yarott, and then Caro, and then you. So you'll have a lot of examples to pull from. Shen is trying to transfer his experience from being a rogue into being a priest. So the scene started. The tavern's very, very youthful, and it's still kind of being set up. We don't really have any patrons yet. Tara was cleaning some of the bars. Mog was probably hanging around, lounging in the main commerce area, and Shen approached him, asked him if he could take him to a back room. He did so, and there's a little kind of shoddy, ritualistic, religious shrine that's been set up in here by Shen, and he was a little proud of it, but it's kind of garbage. And and Mog made a little joke about it. He got a little defensive, and we're gonna get right back into the swing of it. So he goes to start picking it up. Mog stops him.
All right. Quick question. What's this about, Shen?
I mean, there's nobody to spy on here. I'm in the kitchen, for heaven's sake. I've been organizing the spices for the past 3 days. I don't even remember where I put my kunai. They might as well be gone. So, he displays a hand. Priests are helpful.
To help the wayward introspective souls out there, right?
Sure. He stops
kinda
trying
scratches
to
the back of his head.
he stops trying to pick stuff up, and he stands up, takes a more out of body appraisal of the room, and folds his arms. If you're offering to let me in on some secrets for mindfulness, self-awareness, I'll take them. But, and he holds up a finger, we keep it in the... And he looks slightly over your shoulder. Tara, what are you doing?
Secret. They're bad. We don't want none of that. And I'm looking at this, and you think you. Well, I mean, I suppose I.
Cutting out.
Oh boy. Yep, you can do it if you set your mind to it. Yep, sure. I
Mog just kind of furrows his brows, just going straight-lipped. His half-orc tusks just kind of, sitting exposed.
Whew.
Don't listen to the cat girl.
No, that was really supportive, actually. He does some Titus stretches. You know what I need? I need some robes. Get rid of all this tight stuff. He looks at the tight bindings around his shins and his forearms. You gotta look the part first, right?
I could always take the other pirate flag.
Not a bad idea. You want to show me where you got it, Mog? And then he starts for the door, and that can be scene end.
Yep.
So, that is probably Shen switching a rogue experience over to Safe Haven. And now we move to Yarott.
Balls in your park, buddy.
Yep.
Alright, so Yarott, set the scene for us. What town job do you want to go for? I'll read them off to you. We have farmer, priest. You can pick one someone else has picked. It's fine. Farmer, priest, chef, orator, which you can do, merchant, artisan, scholar, guard, apothecary, and hunter. Which of those jump out to you?
I don't know. Give me the job. You said you could offer the jobs.
Farmer, priest,
Uh,
chef.
okay, fine. Give me. Give me merchant.
Merchant? Alright. So, I'll PM you the experiences for merchant, and then you can figure out how Yarott is going to turn himself into a merchant. There you go. Set the stage. I guess Shen will sit out of this one.
Well, I'm well traveled, so I know places. I might have made a network with some odd people back in the Ansarian places.
Sure, but this is sort of you situating
Whatever,
yourself
I
as a
know.
merchant here.
I'm just saying. I have sources.
Yeah. So do you have a scene in mind that's sort of Yarott settling into being a merchant?
Well, I see the place. Looks interesting. I might want.
I don't know how to talk.
That's true, you don't know how to talk. So you kind of just have to narrate your actions. We'll say that Mickey's there. Maybe you're convincing Mickey to set up a wing of the Salty Spittoon that's purely mercantile, where you're going to set up your wares and sell things off to the adventurers coming and going. And then,
Yeah.
and then you need someone there as a translator, because obviously you can only do so via charades. So who wants to be the translator?
Well, my character's coming in later, so.
Alright. Tara? Mog?
You know what?
How about Leo? Leo and Tara.
Still have tongue?
Yarott doesn't speak any languages.
Oh. Oh.
I am a
okay.
mute person. A mute.
Oh. Interesting.
I can always have Leo do it if you guys don't want to.
You have that message cantrip, though.
I want to hear.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was mostly written.
Yeah, sure he has the message cantrip, but this sounds more fun.
I'm down for hearing Leo and y'all.
Alright, so Leo, this giant bear of a white-haired man. He's already sort of dressed the part to look like he comes from here. He walks up with you, Yarott, towards Mickey. You gotta sell him on the idea of opening up a branch of the Salty Spittoon that's gonna be a shop, your shop, that you're gonna head. So you walk up to him. Leo's like, all right, well, we've got this. Mickey,
John Green voice.
Mickey looks at the two of you. He sort of looks at Leo, then looks at Yarott, then back at Leo, then back at Yarott. What do you want? I'm busy here, doing paperwork.
I would do my charades to say that I want to sell stuff. I got some potions. I got some
All right, so how do you do this?
imports. I got some imports. I probably give him a flyer.
All right, you give him a flyer. What's on the flyer?
I sell stuff. I got imports. I can probably rent magic items.
All right, so it's got a little cartoony picture of you that's pointing towards magical potions, magical equipment, magical other things. Leo's like, no, you don't really need me here, do you? Mickey takes the flyer. He says, are you trying to sell me things?
I try to write behind the flyers to say that I want to set up shop here, if they allow it.
Oh. How do I know you'll be profitable? I'm not just taking advantage of my real estate.
Wait, who?
Mickey.
Okay. Well, I would allow him to test some items.
Alright, I'm a fan of that. Let's bring out the big guns. What you got? You can come up with whatever crazy magic stuff you want Yarott to have. Like, who cares about power level? You can have a god artifact. I don't care.
You could let him take. Oh, I still have the manta, the mantle of the manta ray thing from last time.
All right, so you take out the cloak of the manta ray. How do you show him what it does? Leo sees it. He sees it come out, and he goes, "Oh, I know what that does." And he runs into the back room. He comes back with a giant, human-sized fish bowl. And he clunk sends it on the ground. All right, show him your stuff, Yarott.
I swim, and I stay there.
For 6 hours, he watches you frolic in the fishbowl, and he says, "All right, I'm sold. You can set up shop." And he puts your flyer up against the glass. He takes a big piece of paper that he scribbles on for a couple seconds, then he slaps it next to it,
The manta ray. That took me a second.
and it just says a big yes, and then an angry smiling face. So you have gained an experience as a merchant. Next is Caro. All right, Caro, what are you setting up as?
It's orator.
All right, you're an orator.
The thing with the word.
So set the scene, and who's there?
Words.
You want this to be where you come in, Mira, since you're next, or do you want to come in on your turn?
I'm okay with whatever. I'm gonna assume that my character like shows up after everyone else, like after the tavern has already been made.
All right.
How about I convince you to join up then? That can be part of the practicing for the orator.
Okay, so Mira's passing by, and Tara comes over to try and convince her to join.
That
Yeah.
sounds
So
like
you
a good
see,
idea.
a strange. You see, okay. So one day, this group of people come in, ostensibly adventurers, treasure hunters.
Among
you
them,
know, the
among them, a drunk fisherman.
among them is a drunk fisherman, and but as everyone else is like settling into groups, start uproariously ordering drinks and food and whatnot, just like this purple haired, really weird golden eyed wide magus just kind of like settles in a corner and kind of just just settles in a corner and just you know that emo broody thing people.
Is she
The
tossing
owner
a knife
does.
in the air and catching it?
No. I was thinking more like, you know, when they're like have their backs to the walls, their arm crossed, and just look like they're scowling at the world.
Okay.
Zontan, is that you?
All right, so Tara, you approach.
Hello. You don't quite look like you're the type for the rowdiness.
Oh, I'm not. I'm here because, long story I don't want to be here.
It's
I don't want to be
okay.
with them. I don't like. I like I like studying. I like sitting in a library and just like burying my face in a book for a few hours. Well, it's not my fault. The fireball. Never mind. It's been a long day.
It certainly has, and it's just getting started, in fact. But if you like setting your face in, we could certainly use someone a bit more studious around here. That way, you know, wouldn't have to be around all the rambunctiousness all the time. I know how dangerous it was, having used to have been an adventurer myself. And you definitely look like the type that could help us out.
Are you sure about that? Last time I cast a spell was the reason I with this group instead of and still allowed me to keep.
Tara, from the other side of the tavern, you hear Shen call out, Tara, you're not recruiting more people, are you? Mickey's in the back with a drunk guy.
Well, you know, she looks lonely, like she wants to be out of that.
Just make sure she has her credentials this time, please. And he sort of rushes by with a...
She already reads at the library. She's got more credentials than you do.
Shen scowls and then jumps behind a door with a bunch of sloshing tankards.
That's Shin. Look at her.
He seems like quite the character.
Boom, boom, boom. Mog rushes by carrying a platter of some meals, sort of shoddily dishes them out to a table. He has to hunch over not to hit his head on any of the chandeliers or wall fittings.
Excuse me, coming through.
Well, you seem like you guys seem like a good bunch too. Perhaps I could work off maybe I could work off the death while I'm here, or maybe skip the death altogether.
Trust me. We're booming in no time.
Scene end?
Sounds good. Yep, seen it.
Scene end. Alright, so we have done everyone for the what is it? The first
Tara yet?
step. Yeah, Tara went before her. Wait.
Okay.
We did do Tara, right?
That was terrible.
That
was
was
like a both.
Oh, that was Tara. Yeah, that could be both. That could be Tara setting up as an orator, Mira setting up as a scholar, maybe.
Yeah.
You can pick whatever you want.
Basically, Wizard Academy. Yeah, scholar. I was thinking Wizard Academy student who was forcibly expelled after a magical incident.
Hilarious.
Color.
All right, so next, Robert is the first turn, and he. So now that we've finished the first step, that was our first game done. Everyone now has a town experience, and now we go down the list, and people decide what game they want to play. I don't know if you have the PDF open. I can read to you each of the quests, or not. Yeah, each of the games, and you can pick from those, or you can. I very loosely know these rules, so I'm gonna be reading over them with you. And we do whatever Mog wants to do.
What does Mog want to do?
All right, so we have, and after 3 games, so that was the first game, we do wear and tear.
Okay.
Let me know if you guys want to take a smoke break. Smoke break is self-explanatory. It's optional after a game or done by everyone before wear and tear. It's us taking a minute to sort of figure out things and go over in our heads what we want to do next.
I just have to get the document open because.
So we have NPC side quest, which is set up with one person. Just we have wear and tear, which is done every 3 games. We have sliced, which is you can handle typical tavern food fine. You've got a very nice stew, great bread from a baker down the street, or plenty of ale. We'll have to figure out some alternative for that. But sometimes supply routes get disrupted. Or maybe you just want to stand out from the rest of the taverns. Whatever the reason, you're playing this game because you want or need to do one thing. Cook with monster parts. We could do sliced. We could do romancing a stranger. We could do off the clock. We could do festival
After
day.
that, do we wait? After that, do we wait? We're supposed to switch out one of our experiences with.
So the game will tell you what happens.
No. I mean, like right after that.
Oh
intro
yes,
session.
right after the intro, you trade out an adventuring experience for a town experience. We have a Bard's Tale, which can be told by a non-affiliative bard. It can be a bard that comes in and tells a tale that you want to set things straight on, or it could be Tara telling a tale that Mog has to set things straight on. Glass of the Gods, mixing the perfect drink. a distinguished guest. And then in the rhythm of things is what we play at the very end.
What's a distinguished guest? That sounds interesting.
A distinguished guest. Oh, also a friendly tavern brawl.
Getting a
Ooh,
question.
that one also sounds interesting.
All right, friendly.
Wait, hey, can you pass out the? Sorry,
It should be pinned in D&D and roleplay.
it's already here. Playing cards. Draw.
So a distinguished
there.
guest. Someone important is in town and they're already almost here. The tavern has to be at its best for this guest. After all, they might leave a generous tip. Set up. As a group,
Oh.
figure out a few details about the important guest. Where do they come from? How important are they? Have you heard of them? One player will play the guest. Other players are challengers. At least one for each challenge. Each challenge tests one of your tavern ratings. Cuisine challenge, atmosphere challenge, and service challenge. Alright. Who does anybody... So do you want to do a distinguished guest or a friendly tavern brawl?
Let's.
I don't think Garn's good enough for a distinguished guest.
Well, it's okay. It's okay for us to fail, though. Is the thing.
What about a glass of the glass of the gods?
I actually think that a good one to start with is a glass of the gods, because this is us trying to make a signature drink
Ooh,
menu.
yeah. All right.
that will draw in a crowd. Like, you know, this is our drink that we're well known for. This is why everyone comes here is for this drink.
All right. Setup. One player is the adventurer. Another player is the bartender. The adventurer can be a player character, a regular patron, or a new face. The bartender should be a player character and an NPC created for a cuisine rating of 3 or 4. Oh, jeez. Adventurer, you have a trouble. Come up with something on your own or use the examples below, modify them as necessary. Bartender, describe the current atmosphere of the tavern and one detail about the adventurer that draws your attention. So let's do this procedurally. So, does anyone want to be the adventurer? Because Mog is going to be the bartender, right?
Oh, going once, going twice.
I'll be the adventurer, if nobody else does.
Oh, okay. I was about
I
to
could
say
be-
that the same thing, so. Okay.
Let's have Pata do it then. So Mog, you're the bartender.
Am I Mog the bartender, or am I just a random bartender?
You're probably going to be playing Mog as the bartender.
Okay. So basically, he's kind of doing double duty as a server, a bartender, and a bouncer. So
Of course.
Kidding.
So Pata, you have a trouble. Come up with your trouble or use the examples below. Here's some examples. A lover has grown distant while you were adventuring. A member of your party died while out in the wild and you miss them. Your party never seems to find enough treasure and fights over money are always breaking out. You were badly injured. Your deity asks so much of you and you question if your faith's really worth it. Although you love adventuring, you're homesick. Violence is part of the job, but you can't shake the feeling of innocent blood on your hands. So, after you describe that, bartender describes the current atmosphere of the tavern and one detail about the adventurer that draws your attention. So we start with so Pata, who are you? What's your trouble?
we're making up a new
I'm-
temporary character.
Or
Yeah.
this can also be myth.
This is Ron.
Or
Or you can
this
even-
can be Mira. It can be Mira. It could also be myth.
It could be bad.
Roz finally
Myth.
finally killed himself and Myth's sad about it.
No, no, wouldn't it make more sense for this to be Sylvia complaining about not finding that lady? What's her face?
Sure, it could be whatever you want.
Okay, well, anyways, this is wrong. This is a guy named Ronald. He looks a lot like a red mage from Final Fantasy 11.
Okay.
Except that he wears more armor than like red clothes and fancy suits.
All right, so what's your trouble? What's your trouble, Ronald?
Oi, bartender, give me a pint.
Aye,
Hardest
pint?
stuff to get.
What?
Aye.
Your hardest stuff.
So, bartender, describe the current atmosphere of the tavern and one detail about the adventurer that draws your attention.
Alright, so the atmosphere of the tavern is, since we're relatively new and we don't have that many customers, is a quiet place. Evening is settled in, and we haven't gotten all the light fixtures established, so it is kind of dim lighting. Just for
And
that.
you guys, Mir had earlier on offered to set a light fire in the fireplace, but after hearing about how she got kicked out of the academy, all of you politely declined the
You're
offer.
like, no, we're good. No, we're okay.
Okay, so the way this game works is the bartender asks questions, the adventurer answers. You come up with questions on your own, or you use some examples. Ask as many as are necessary. After you've figured out you don't have any more questions to ask, you mix the drink. You use the adventurer's answers to create something for their trouble. Is there a story to this drink? Where is it from? Who was it first made for? For the adventurer, what side to the trouble does this drink help you see? What part of it helps you forget, or at least move on? Some example ingredients: vodka, gin, rum, brandy, strawberry, raspberry, pomegranate, salt rim, pickled plum, olives, grapefruit, lemon, powdered roots, beef broth, etc. So, start with the questions, Mog.
All right. Hey, first thing since we skipped over this, first thing that Mog takes notice of is the feather in the cap of this red-clad adventurer. You look like you're a person of refined tastes. Do you have a sweet tooth?
Wait,
I know you like your hard drink, but do you like it with the size sweet?
I don't need the sweets today. I just want something hard, please. Nothing.
You seem trouble, friend. You sleeping well at night?
Sleeping. If that was my only issue, I would issue. Where's the pints?
What was that last?
Where's the pints?
Where's the pint?
Maybe you slide her
Right
over
up.
just a straight beer to soften her up before you hit her with.
There you go.
He just takes it and chugs chugs the entire cup down, before just kind of going back to his hunched depressed position.
You seem like the sort that does a lot of adventuring. We get quite a few of those folks come by. You here for the gold, or did you become an adventurer for other reasons?
Yeah. See, partner and I, we heard there was a mighty beastie in these waters here. She decided, no one's managed. She heard the news, decided, nobody's managed to find out this beastie. Might as well go and look for it. Hunt its head down, become famous. And now look at where we are. I haven't seen her in days now, and supplies are running out. I doubt she's even alive anymore.
Quite the tough life adventurers lead. It's kind of a life I left behind.
I don't blame you.
Too many bitter goodbyes like that. But, you used to taking down tough foes like that? Or trying to?
Yeah. For given definition of the word, it's always, see, I guess, another pint, please.
Alright. He pours you out another pint.
He takes just not an entire swig of it, but just just kind of like drinks a mouthful, puts the cup down, sighs again. We're used to We're used to hunting big beasties. But up until now, we decided we hunted stuff that people's actually heard of or maybe seen, or there's information out on it or something. Would We're a two-man group, so every bit of information counts. It counts. But no beastie frequents this watering hole. Yeah, sure, that would be a perfect place to set up a trap. Wait for it a few hours, be able to get a blowgun to lodge in some paralyzing poisons. You know the drill. All of that, and then I guess all of that just went to our heads.
You've been adventuring with this fellow long.
Long is relative. Long is relative.
Yeah.
Although when he says that, he does have something. He does look. His expression looks surprised, a little proud when he says that, and there's the slightest bit of a grin at the corner of his mouth.
When did you two first meet?
Heard about. First big beastie I guess we took down together. Most of us were hunters. Maybe took a year, maybe had a year or two under our belts of experience, and heard about this gigantic. I don't. What do you call them? Eldents. Like that was terrorizing some village or another, or on the outskirts of society. You know how it goes. Then we met. We met when. Then she set a good trap. She set a good trap, but it was me who figured out where to hit it and how to cut its head off.
And so you two have just been kind of playing off of each other's strengths ever since?
Just like that. Just like that.
I see.
It's another long drink.
You know, I think I got something special for the occasion.
And Maga disappears in the back for a couple seconds. There's a bunch of wild swishing noises as massive, mysterious volumes of liquids slosh against one another in the creation of what could only be an eldritch concoction. And he emerges with...
He calls this the Red Rum Mambo.
the Red Rum Mambo.
So it's a rum drink, with some added fruit flavoring. It has some grapefruit juice in it. And it has some pomegranate in it. With a splash of tomato juice.
All right, Ronald, how is it?
And then Ronald looks at the cup, swishes it around a bit, smacks his lips, and then takes another drink.
All right, so I'm gonna
Where did you get this?
level up cuisine. I don't know if this is how it works, but I'm deciding it's how it works. 'Cause I
It's
don't
called
know.
the Red Rum Mambo. It's something I whipped up. It's got rum as the basis. That's the burning at the back of your throat. And rum is a very reminiscing drink. It's a drink that helps you look back on the old times. And It seems like you and your partner have a little bit of a bittersweet relationship. Or maybe it was sweet and it ended sour. So that's the grapefruit and the pomegranate.
Ugh, pomegranate. Yeah.
With a splash of tomato for that kick, that passion, that little fire in the gut.
Yeah, yeah, exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's been.
All right.
We surely had our ups and downs.
Sounds like a good scene end to me. All right, and that means that it's now my turn. We are now on month 3.
Tada, you played the best drunk.
What game does Shen want to play? Shen is going to play. I'm stuck between Off the Clock and Romancing a Stranger.
You just want to throw Psycho in there, let's be.
I'm going to go with the clickbait. Romancing a Stranger. Someone in the tavern makes eye contact with you, and their gaze lingers a little longer than you'd expect. Your coworkers urge you on and make every excuse they can to send you over to talk to the lovely stranger. One pair plays. Alright, so Shen's the romancer. Who's the stranger and who do you want to be?
Anyone?
Well, the way Robert, you and Nick are getting a divorce, so let's have you play the stranger.
Are you just gonna fucking just tell me you?
Oh, that's what you've been joking about this whole time. I had no context for the divorce comments. I'm a brick wall.
No, the divorce comments were totally unrelated, but
Alright. I'm gonna set us up with a new song.
we're just gonna gay it up here.
Ooh. Oh, you actually technically do determine Shen's sexuality here. Depending on who you play.
Maybe that's why it didn't work out with Psycho.
Maybe. Alright.
God damn it.
Alright. Actually, let's save that one for a distinguished guest.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
We're gonna do this one
no.
instead. Alright. Who's the stranger?
Stranger seems to be a... And because I can't fucking help myself with my goddamn cameos. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Stranger seems to be a foreigner. And the foreigner looks to be from a place far north. If the white blonde hair is of any indication.
I'm not ready for this. Alright, so Shen, he's sort of backed by Leo, and we'll say Tara and Mog are there too. He's got his regular clothes on, but Tara, you caught him wrapping his ninja bindings around his forearms again. This is the first time in months you've seen him do this. As he sees you noticing, he says, "I've got a target." And he looks over at the foreigner.
The foreigner just kind of glancing Shen's way every once in a while.
Every time she he looks over, he very quickly looks away.
Okay, if you want one piece of advice, it's don't hit him.
I don't need your advice. I know what I'm doing. He cracks his knuckles. He's got his kunai belt around his leg as well.
Found his kunai.
Anyone else want to chip in advice before he goes for it?
I'm mute, so
All right, so Yarott, you're in the corner. You just give him 2 thumbs up.
What's the name
Yeah.
of this? What's the name of the game again?
Romancing a
Dancing
stranger.
Thank you. There we go. All right.
All right,
wait.
so is Mira doing anything?
She's currently in the back. I have an idea, different idea for her. Don't worry about it.
Great. So Shen pumps himself up. He jogs from one leg to the other, and then he runs a hand through his hair, trying to slick it back as much as he can. But he's got like 3 antennae going on. Finally, he grabs a couple of tankers and he walks over to the stranger before sitting down. All right. So describe a detail about the stranger that drew me to you. It's probably the... So what little quirky stuff does the stranger got on?
They look like your typical adventurer coming through, but they like to wear a lot of fur lining with their.
It's definitely the fur lining then. And stranger, describe the first thing you notice about the romancer.
One, he's got a lot of knives.
Yeah, but he's playing it off, right?
Um,
He's not playing it off.
he's trying to walk with this cool guy strut, and it looks very, like, overacted.
So as he sits down, you notice that just whether from the nerves or from his faux posturing as he was walking over, the tankards are holding about 2/3 of the liquid they were when he started. He slowly pushes one over to you, takes a little bit of a swig and says, "You got a name?" So the way this game works is the romancer and the stranger take turns asking questions, each asking 2 at a time before the next phase, which is closing time.
Okay.
So we'll hit that when we do. You got a
Right.
name?
She kind of drums her fingers on the table and interfolds them, looking over the ale-soaked wood towards the person who sits down with mugs after showing his what's it called? Showing his swagger. Call me Maruna.
Oh my fucking god. He gulps down and nods. He looks like he's about to start saying something, but decides against it and nods instead. That's not a name I've ever heard before. You must be from pretty far away. He's having trouble holding eye contact. He takes another swig of ale.
Asvir, actually. It's very far north.
Probably cold up there.
Very cold. Yes.
Alright, now Maruna asks 2 questions.
She kind of looks this stranger up and down. Kind of squints around. You look like you're not from these parts yourself. And those clothes. If I had to guess, you're from Izuni, right?
Ah, the eye of a sniper. He bows his head. How apt that one such as you, with so refined a fashion sense, would have so similar a talent in extrapolating my region of origin. He gives you a slight bow. Aye, I'm from Izuni. I guess I'm from here now, though. It's been a long, long time since I've tread those shores.
And can't help but wondering if you're some sort of she raises her eyebrows. Oh, you're a kabuki actor, aren't you?
A what?
Mm,
A kabuki actor?
never mind.
I'm a priest.
Oh, I couldn't tell with all the.
I'm a
kind of-
priest! He slams his hand on the table.
Okay, you're wow. Aren't priests supposed to have a bit of a temperament?
I'm very well tempered, thank you. Sorry. A little bit of the old me came out. I'm still trying to convince myself. There's more to it than you'd expect, you know.
Ah, crisis of faith and all that. Yes.
He shakes his head. I haven't even found one of those to follow yet. Still trying to get the mannerisms down. What about you? You ever find yourself trying to take on something you're unfamiliar with? Try to become something that maybe you idealize a little bit, but never really got around to emulating?
Mm, well, my papa was one of the greatest axemen in the village. He was able to single-handedly take down a dire wolf. And, well, I don't quite have the muscle strength he has, but
Ah, refinement of body. That's something you can develop. The grace and social aptitude of a priest. Ah, I'm having my troubles.
she kind of slants her lips, taking her mug up to her face before just tilting it back.
Oh, I actually brought this too. And he sort of swings over to the table adjacent, and he takes a couple of reddish colored drinks off. This is our signature, the Red Rum Mambo. Specialty of Mog.
Oh, I heard about this one.
He gives you an affirmative double eyebrow raise and takes a sip. On me, of course.
Much obliged, stranger.
Uh,
Got a name?
Shen.
Shen. She's gonna take
Just
an experimental drink of it, and her kind of the lines around her nose just sort of like they scrunch a little bit as she acclimates to the taste. It's very how should I put it?
Shen nods. Don't worry. I know. Bites harder than the sea, Mog always says. And it sure does.
So, why'd you take interest in little old me?
Interest in...
Hello, hey everyone. I was been reading some books, and okay, so at this point, just like Amira just kind of like bursts out from the back room and starts yelling.
Shen looks over.
Does anyone try to stop her or like shush her or anything?
Leo clamps a hand over your mouth and then like hurries you behind the counter, ducks you down, and then points at Shen and Maruna, and then goes shh.
Amira vigorously nods.
So Shen was looking over. He was incredibly delighted that Mira had given him as blatant an out as that, but Leo just ruined that chance. So he mid-sentence turns back to Maruna and says, um, I got a thing for white hair.
She reaches up and she kind of just fondles a couple strands.
Shen covers his eyes with one hand, and the rest of his face turns pretty red. It's the drink. It's an Izuni thing too. This isn't my fault.
Oh my gosh, the Asian blush is real.
And we can, unless you have any other questions, we can move to the next phase.
So, what do you, besides being a priest, what's a priest hanging around in a place like this?
He's doing his best. He takes his hand down. He's doing his damn best, Maruna. I like to think that there's a place for mysticism everywhere. Even overpriced vacation resort type inns like this one.
I find the price has been pretty reasonable so far.
Is that because I've been paying for everything? He takes a sip of the red rum mambo.
Oh, okay.
She also looks at Red Rum Mambo and just has a swig of it, and then she's like, yeah, yep.
It is a luxury afforded to us by being so remote.
Alright, what's the next phase?
Alright, next phase. Closing time. The tavern is almost empty. Tables are being wiped down. Shen and Maruna both get up from the table they've been sitting at, talking, and wonder where the time has gone. Romancer, do you say something before the stranger leaves for the night? Do you go with them? Who's the first person you'll tell about this? So, Shen doesn't even hold hands on the first date. He's gonna cross his arms and go, you know, I think that was the longest conversation I've ever had.
I mean, I did most of the talking, but me, I'm kind of Gabby. I have that, you know.
Stranger, will you come back to the tavern tomorrow or at least someday? Or do you refuse to make a connection from fear or disinterest? If you decide to return, write down your name on the NPC section of the tavern sheet.
Will she come back? Do I break Shen's heart?
Do you or don't you?
I mean, Jin could kidnap you. He's done it before.
He has done it before, yes.
Gosh.
Is high good or bad?
What's good and what's bad?
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you consider
Good
and bad?
is.
I'm gonna say high's good. High's always good.
I rolled a 1 on a 1d10.
Nice.
So she says, you know, this place ain't half bad. I might have to swing around again. And she leaves, and she is never seen again.
Rip.
So probably 3 or 4 days later, Shen has a calendar hanging in the priest room that has a really shoddy drawing of Maruna on the day that was 3 days ago, and it looks like he's waiting for the next time she shows up to draw her face on the day again.
Sad.
So we are now on month 5. I forgot to update it. And it is Yaroth's turn for a game. So Yarott.
I think this is the time.
Oh, wait.
Smoke
This
break
is
and all that.
smoke break and then wear and tear.
Alright.
So where's wear and tear? So smoke break is like a 5-minute breather. We can talk out of characters, do whatever you guys want. What's up? How you liking it?
This is
This is fun.
this is comedy gold.
This is a lot more fun than I was expecting to have.
This
Not gonna
is
lie.
Weird, social, awkward comedy hour.
I mean,
This is an improv skit.
Basically, the whole thing is an improv skit.
Well,
I'm
if
having a
anything,
lot of
it's
fun.
good for training us.
I don't know about you. I'm having a lot of fun right now.
This could actually this could not be a one shot. It could be longer.
Yeah, it could.
I wish everyone else was here.
I'm glad I'm
They're
recording
missing
it.
out, so-
I wish I didn't roll a 1.
Hey, it's alright. You let the dice decide too much, Robert. You gotta flub rolls more.
It's alright. Caro will console his broken heart once he finally realizes. If he realizes.
Shen was alluding to Maruna the whole time that he has a thing for Leo.
Shit, Leo's got white hair.
I think there's a joke like that in Megas XLR where there's like this throwaway villain and he's got a thing for like red hair. And he's kind of like, you know, he's got a portrait of like all these women that like he's killed.
Jesus
And they all have
Christ.
red hair, but one of them is a man.
Alright. Does anyone need more time?
So smoke break, we use this to discuss what we want to do next, or
So next we're doing wear and tear, which increases. It says one of our tavern ratings by 1, but I'm going to increase each of them by 1 since we only have an hour left.
okay.
So I also need to figure out how that helped Shen be a better priest.
Let's see.
Warm
Yeah,
presence,
according to
others feel
Wikipedia-
comfort around you, your words soothe the soul. So he's now only got Lightfoot left. Act undetected.
Oh, was I supposed to shift something from?
After your scene, yeah. You want to shift something over each time.
Okay. Let me look. Let me look at what I got. Guard. Let's see.
Maybe like maybe. Let me
Friend of the people is a good swap. So
Yeah.
we're gonna shift intimidation over to friend of the people because he has.
He's learned how to be good intimidating.
He's learned how to use that force of personality for good.
He dangles kids' toys from his tusks instead of the entrails of his enemies.
Yeah, even being overly nice can be intimidating.
Oh, you can?
Merrim's show. It happened once or twice.
Alright, so now we do wear and tear, then we go back to Yarott, and then do Caro, and
that's
then do
fair.
Pata.
If you're always nice, I can speak from experience. Well, maybe not always, but
So,
if you're nice enough.
wear and tear. There's always something to fix or clean or pay off. After playing this game, you may increase * all of your tavern ratings by 1. Setup. Anyone can play, decide together what part or parts of the tavern need fixing and touching up, and what the new features of the tavern are. Working together. Take turns choosing actions to take. Everyone should pick one. Ask another player character for help. As you're working, observe a townsperson or another player character. You're completely in your element. Describe how, with one of your experiences, you work so efficiently that the work is done early. So, who's playing? Shen's playing. Is Mog playing? Tara?
I'm gonna be playing. Yeah.
Alright, Mog's playing.
Yeah.
I'll be playing.
Tara's playing. Mira's playing. Yarott playing? Is that a no?
It's not even-
Radio silence?
Okay, I guess
No,
not.
not hello.
All right, do you want to?
Silence. I gotta go. Sorry.
Are you playing Wear and Tear?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear
Um,
me?
Yeah, I can. I'm saying that I think I cannot play anymore.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, all right.
We'll keep recording.
I wanna continue. I really want to continue. I gotta go.
Oh, do you want us to stop and then pick this up sometime?
Well, this could be longer, like I said.
Yeah, it could.
I mean, this was intended to be a one shot though.
Well, it could be a mini shot. We could do it tomorrow.
I'm pretty wrapped up for like the next couple weeks.
Well, someday.
We'll probably just finish for the next hour, and then if we want to keep playing, we can discuss that via text.
Okay then. Well, keep recording this.
Oh yeah, of
I'll be
course.
back.
Thanks for playing so far. All right, so everyone except Yarott, who's leaving, is playing Wear and Tear. So let's see. What's going up with the Salty Spittoon? There was a big Kraken fight on the coast, like 30 feet away, and one of our walls needs complete refurnishing, and Yarott had just gotten a big shipment of supplies in for improvements to the structure. How's that?
All right.
All right,
Sounds
so
good.
everyone's got a hard hat on. Everyone's got a construction vest. Leo's clearing out all the patrons and making sure nobody infringes on us. Let's see. So I guess we go in order and we describe what we're doing, and then we
I'm
roleplay it out.
I'm cleaning up the. So I'll be. You see me helping clean up the debris using prestidigitation.
All right. Shen is. We'll say Mog is lifting like big pieces of like structure units up to the wall, and then Shen is throwing kunai to bind them together.
Nice.
What's Terra doing?
Probably some other sort of heavy lifting.
Oh right, yeah, with
Rathguard.
Rathguard. All right, so Terra's one-arming a bunch of like giant pieces of Kraken and football throwing them into the ocean.
I'm looking at. I occasionally I look over or at her in the middle of prestidigitation cleaning and it's just like, what?
So Shen jumps down from the roof where he was throwing the kunai and he runs over to Terra. Terra, stop! We can put those in some dishes.
Leo, how does Kraken taste?
What's Leo's voice? Do you want to play Leo, Robert?
Green.
Yeah.
Kraken.
It's like
Not
squid.
bad. A little gamey, but with some raspberry sauce. Well,
Shen nods.
Alright,
Select
well, I
the
still
grill.
got a couple tentacles, so we'll be fine then.
All right. Mog, he throws a bunch of kunai at Mog. Remember I taught you how to throw those. I'm gonna be taking the Kraken into the kitchen, and then he starts helping Terra herd a bunch of gamey pieces of seafood. Most of them scorched, some electrified, some just hacked off into the kitchen of the Salty
If
Spittoon.
anyone can make it work, it would be Leo.
Probably like 5-10 minutes later, Shen runs back out. He runs up to Mira. Hey, most of the Kraken's caked in sand. Can you help with that?
Yeah, sure. The crowd's kind of getting rowdy outside. Can you get someone to maybe like keep them calm, keep them entertained?
Mog!
something like that?
Mog, stop with the wall! And then he does some big traffic gestures over to Leo, who is up to his waist in people. There's some children that have tackled his shoulders. He's slowly being consumed in an ocean of patrons.
all right, everyone, form a line.
Boom, 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 boom. All right, so because you developed your intimidate into that other thing, you help really well with Leo, and you get them all situated in really strangely organized lines. It looks like a military formation. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, we successfully discover some Kraken dishes, And the hide that we get stripped off, we turn into some really, really comfortable bedding. Great. And then we put the Kraken head on the wall, like game hunting. Perfect. So we've successfully leveled up each of our things.
Okay.
Anything else anyone wants to do?
Mira, going back, let's just say that Mira also found some herbs, some wild herbs on this small deserted island, and that could be used for great medicines and seasonings and stuff, and that also helped.
Awesome.
Okay. Nice.
Kraken hide, bed linings, and a big Kraken head. Yeah, a big Kraken trophy head. The service is Mog is the best. Mog is a drill sergeant, except nice.
He's the nicest drill sergeant.
How do you spell sergeant?
S-E...
S-E-R-G-E-A-N-T. Alright, great. It's this. Alright, so, wear and tear over. Great job, guys. Month 6. It is now Caro's turn. We're gonna get a music
Alright.
change.
Let's see. What mini game should we play?
Guys, I want to run a tavern with you.
Right.
Right. So, wait, whose turn
Alright,
is it?
let's go with the tavern
It's
brawl.
Terra's. Alright, so a friendly tavern brawl. Every tavern has its rowdy patrons. You know they're good at heart, but sometimes when the ale is flowing and spirits are high, things get a little out of hand. How do you handle the situation? Alright, the setup. Brawlers. One or more players are the brawlers. They can be player characters or NPCs. What is the disagreement that caused the first punch to be thrown? De-escalators. This can be one, but should usually be several player characters. What made you get involved? Who was the first to intervene? Alright, so Shen's gonna be brawling.
Oh god.
Okay. I want to have a little bit of fun. So TP is also brawling.
TP.
Alright, TP's
Oh,
brawling.
No, okay, so, oh no, are we assuming? Oh, can Ra and Artemis be there too?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, Ra is the brawler, not Shen. Ra's brawling, TP's brawling. Artemis is outside because I don't feel confident enough to play her unless someone else does.
No. Artemis is outside because she was the reason they were here in the first place, and they decided nope, she's not. She's staying out.
Perfect. Who's de-escalating?
Mog would be trying to de-escalate.
All right, Mog's de-escalating.
So it's his job.
What do you want to be doing, Pata?
Let's see. Let's see. Mira is mostly cowering behind the bar, but trying to while Mog's de-escalating, she's also trying to take care of the bar stuff.
The patrons? All right.
Or help Mog is doing that.
Great. So the fight starts. Ra and TP are sitting across the table from one another. All of a sudden, Ra's chair flies back. A flurry of dark energy kicks up from his feet, and he shoots TP in the face with his gun.
God.
He goes, "We're supposed to be in Alexandria!" He slams his drink off the table. The shot rings out.
It's not my fault that we're not in Alexandria.
A spiritual weapon bonks Ra across the head. He slams onto the table.
Artemis at this point gets up from her seat and just goes outside.
Perfect. Ra's drunkenly fighting back to his feet. Looks like he's starting to cast more juju magic. So here we go. The approach. De-escalators. The first thing you need to do is interrupt the fight. How do you draw their attention?
Alright, so as soon as they start man. How close are they about to like just start throwing punches at each other?
Ra just shot Teepee. He shot Teepee with a gun.
Bonked the fuck out of him in retaliation.
Like spells are being cast.
Okay. So Mog, who'd been sitting there reading a newspaper, he peeks over there. Hey!
So as the bouncer starts coming over, Ra shoots up a miasmic cloud. Nobody's getting between him and this fur ball. You hear him stand up on the table as he runs across to confront Teepee. How does Teepee lash out? What do you say that you shouldn't have?
Good question. What do you say that you shouldn't? There's so many good options.
Oh, Mira counterspelling the miasmic cloud would be super great.
Gigi's just like, I don't give a shit about your dark, spooky juju. I'm a world-class white mage, and you can just fuck.
Ra, his footsteps on the table stop. He goes, good. I don't want people to care about my juju. Asshole! And then 2 more shots ring out.
Oh no, this is my asthma. I've seen it for
Oh, are we talking about asshole? Because let me tell you, I've suffered with your abuse and
And
asshole.
give me a sec. Let's see. What does she fumble it? On a roll of 1, she does. No, she doesn't. She counterspells. Well, she counterspells the cloud.
Ra, he looks, his eyes widen and he looks around. That's not supposed to happen. Alright.
Okay.
Mog, how do you put
Mog is-
space between the brawlers? Is there something else you can get them to focus on?
Mog is just standing right behind Ra, just this freaking shadowy brick shit house with white glowing eyes, just looming
Good lord,
menacingly.
he's enormous.
Menacing.
Just a hand comes and clamps down on top of Ra's head. Just a single palm just encompasses his entire scalp, and he just leans down. He's like, "How about I ask nicely? How about you please take it outside and let everyone else drink in peace?"
Brawlers try to start the fight back up again, so a voice slightly...
At this point, Artemis pokes her head back in and says something "Are you guys done? Are you
guys quite done
Are
yet?
you guys quite done yet?
Are you
Are
guys quite done being little
I'm bad at
niggling?
I'm bad at voices.
So,
I've got
a voice slightly to the left of the Ra that Mog has his hand clamped down on says, "Nice try, but you're not getting between me and this little wretched furball." The mirror image that Mog has grabbed, and
I'll show you.
Ra sliding tackles Teepee with his shoulder. He cuts his sentence off as his shoulder just poof straight into his mouth. The two of them go tumbling through a couple of chairs, and they come up with Ra on top with both of his hands around TP's neck, shaking his head like Bart Simpson.
Damn.
Let's see, what else can press the
Spiritual weapon just bonking Rod.
Oh yeah, of course, just repeatedly. Giant welts and bruises are showing up on his face. Alright, and now the talk down. De-escalators, how do you ensure that the fight won't break out again tonight?
Alright, so Mog kind of gets a little frustrated. He kind of growls under his breath. His eyebrow twitches, and then just out come the Kasari Gama.
Oh no.
He basically wraps both of them up in chains, and he flings them over the rafters so that they're hanging.
So after a couple minutes of them hanging over the rafters, Ra, horribly bloodied and swollen, just looks over at TP and says, "Am I being an asshole again?"
No.
Alright, brawlers, how are you feeling? What almost makes you start up the fight again?
Presumably, them both being sarcastically snippy towards each other, like always.
If I could reach my gun.
Well, Artemis hooks her head back in and looks at you guys.
She goes,
Well,
"Oh, good. Don't
well,
have to
if
throw
you
a
guys-
fireball in." Looks at Mog. "Do send them out when they're suitably sober," and then just disappears.
Yeah, that's
and you
hard.
two, we have. And you two, we've work to do. We have work to do to get back. Or I'm bad at her voice.
All right, that was a pretty good tavern brawl. I would say. Wait, whose game was that? Was that your game, Caro?
Yep.
Tara wasn't even in this.
No, but I was having fun as Teepee.
That's fine. You can level up if you want to. It doesn't matter. Next game is
Hey,
Pata.
Roth finally got to shoot Teepee in the face. So.
3 times.
Okay, what-
How did TP survive?
So that's,
Mystical
let's see.
Moogle bullshit.
I guess.
I guess. What do we? What? Where is it? Where is the thing? What was I looking at? I was looking at it right here. No. Sorry. I guess. Let's see. Club. Gathering quest. Herbs for the apothecary, or spices for the kitchen, materials for new paints, and towns and tavern smoke need large amounts of gatherable resources. Okay then. Yeah, sure. Sure.
So what are we doing?
Oh yeah. So we're gathering. We're starting to get a few more famous people now, and especially with Yar going out there making connections. Eventually, we attract the attention of of a merchant who's looking for some new exotic spices, who's to start being able to sell in the markets, and comes over to us to talk about it.
All right. We're hitting up the Doothum theme. I'm gonna play the
Oh, yeah.
merchant.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this fine establishment. Yes. Wonderful.
Oh, hello, sir.
Uh,
I
that was me
I imagine
practicing.
That Mira... Okay. Oh, okay.
Um,
I imagine that
You
Mira
have a
would-
merchant and you don't go for the ops.
all right.
Really?
So a man dressed in long, flowing white and gold garments with darker skin walks in. He's got a big, bushy mustache with a too big hat. He's just over 5 feet tall, and over his face is a sandstorm mask.
Oh boy.
I knew it.
God damn it.
He's got his hands together. He's sort of rubbing
Hey.
them together. Wonderful. Who approaches him?
Excuse me?
Oh,
I assume that Mog is kind of watching the patrons right now, so Mira's
Sir,
tending.
sandstorm mask
Kind of
and
like
nope.
So he looks at Mira as she slowly approaches and goes, "Oh," and he reaffixes his sandstorm mask and goes, "Hello there.
greetings, sir. You
What is your name?"
am Mira. I am Mira.
"And I am the great Tokugawa Makino.
Kigawa Makina.
So,
Ah, good-
tell
nice
me,
to meet you,
Mira.
sir.
Shh. I'm not done. Tell me, do you have a market opening for, let's say, Akaziri spice and the Hodorum peppers?"
Hmm, I don't think I've heard of those. I'll go check with our supplies guy. He knows more than I do. She kind of steps. Okay, this is Tara could step in right now. She's gonna go check with Yar for a few moments.
Nope. Like Tara saw the sandstorm mask and she noped right the hell out.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to play somebody else? You want to play Mickey?
Sure, I'll play me.
All right, so you're the indigenous forager that used to own this place.
So Tara's just like, excuse me, nope, I'm not dealing with this shit, not today. Hey, you need to watch where you're going.
Watch where I'm going. You're lucky I don't have my entourage with me.
Not you. Now, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing in my shop?
I am usually afforded a little bit more, honor than and he just gives you like a splay of the hand. That was very
Hello.
disrespectful.
Oh,
I was
hey.
very busy, very busy, very
Oh,
very busy.
it's the nice cute one. Hey, come back. I don't like this guy. And he just kind of like puts his hand on Mickey's face and shoves him.
If you don't want food or bed, shove off.
So, ah,
Hello
I think we
again.
need to- hello. I think we have the. We do have the peppers, but the other thing you mentioned, the other spice you mentioned, something in. We don't have
The-
that.
You do not have the akaviri salt?
Akaviri salt. No.
Hmm. Now that
What?
is a very horrible tragedy. And he raises his hand and he gestures it as if he was brushing his fingers against your face, but he looks like he doesn't want to get any germs on his hand. A shame, a shame. Well, how about this? I have just the idea that will put you in my good graces. You and your tavern, I suppose. How open is your ear?
Open enough? Rather, I'm a purveyor of knowledge.
I will do business with the prestigious Yarott and his fine establishment of the Salty Spittoon on one condition. You must perform 10 push-ups. Right here, right now.
Oh, okay.
Can Noodle Arm Mage do the push-ups?
Oh, our mage do the push-ups. She succeeds if she rolls a 9 or higher.
Hey! She does 20.
Moose Mage. Mage of Moose Face.
All right. You can stop. Enough of those noises. Wonderful. Well, it looks like now you do have Akaviri salt in stock. My Akaviri salt. I'll go over the prices with you later.
Oh,
Make sure to have your ledgers in a few days when I arrive with my shipping vessels.
that would be perfect, sir. And if it wouldn't in exchange, not only that, but we could. I found some new spices in the old spices, but more of like easier supplies of these old spices that used to be very rare before in regions.
Do you want to do more push-ups?
Okay.
Then we are done here. And he turns and he leaves.
Okay. Yeah.
Is he fucking gone yet?
Shen is poised on one of the ceiling beams, ready to fucking drop and decapitate this guy.
Please tell me he's gone.
Who was that man?
Look,
Uh,
all I'm gonna say is Sandstorm Mask trigger me.
So, does that resolve the game? We kind of went off on a tangent there.
I don't know. Does that?
We'll say that levels our cuisine to 4 out of 4.
Okay.
Mira gets another town job experience.
Oh.
That'll also probably level up our food to 3 out of 4. Akaviri salt.
How did our cuisine get to?
It leveled up by 1 from the Red Rum Mambo, then everything went up by 1 from Wear and Tear, and then we leveled it up to 4 with that.
Okay.
Alright. And now it's Robert.
Alright.
We're on month 7.
Month 7.
Wait, was that the third game? No, that was the second. That was the
No.
second. So after Robert, we do Wear and Tear again.
Yes.
Alright. Let me think. I wish there was a table of contents here.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
We're probably butchering a lot of the rules.
probably.
I don't
Probably,
really care.
But I don't care.
It's
This
fun.
This is fun as it is. So if Wyatt's like, we're doing it all wrong when he's the one.
Shut up, Wyatt.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
Hmm.
I'm gonna change the music
How
back.
about
We love you, Wyatt. Anyways.
how about a? Are we allowed to do an NPC side quest?
Hell yeah.
I did that.
Was that one
Yeah.
of yours?
Free to do whatever.
Yeah, oh yeah. Don't worry about doing quests over again. I don't care. We'll make them different. So you want to do an NPC side quest?
Remind me which one Pata's was.
Pata, we had.
It actually got derailed, so.
Yeah, it did get
don't worry
derailed.
about- So don't worry
Yikes.
about it.
All right. Well, let's do
No,
another
it's
one to make
fine.
up for it. All right. What
So-
are they asking
So
me to do?
just one person plays, huh? So where are you when you encounter this side quest? Are you in the tavern, walking around the island, on the road leading in?
I would say Mog is outside near the docks, probably having a toke off of the pipe,
All right.
back the pipe.
So the initial request, what are they asking you to do? What is the situation? So I'll deal you a card. Deal 1 card to the Snuggy Wizard. What is it?
It is a 9 of clubs.
All right, so it's an apprentice carpenter, and this is a gathering quest.
Okay.
All right, so I'll play the carpenter. So you're chilling on the docks, and you feel a disturbance in the waves. There's a bit too much of a pause between the irregularity of them, and then all of a sudden, a massive sea serpent's head crests the waves and slowly looks up towards you. Hello.
Mog stumbles back a moment, and he's like, oh, you gave me a spook there, friend.
We need coral. You understand? for the dungeons.
Ah, right, the dungeon, right?
I'm not too good at this. I usually get it myself, but I'm kinda new.
Well, shoot. I still have a few minutes. Coral. Let me see if we got any.
Alright, so you go into the tavern, and
Oi, do we have any extra coral?
Shen's walking by with a glass of drinks. I don't even think we used coral in our cooking. Leo, do we have coral for any reason? Mira? And Shen
Pretty
looks.
sure coral is made out of rock. Why would you eat it?
So, let's see. Apprentice carpenter. So do I roll the dice?
Yes.
All right.
1d6.
Rolling a 1d6. Let's do it. 1d6.
Alright, this is gonna take a while. You'll need someone to cover your shift at the tavern.
Hey, Shen, you're on make sure people aren't being idiots and mucking up the place duty.
A sheen sort of glimmers on Shen's back, and he takes one hand out from under the tray of the glasses and just whoosh, and the spirit blade manifests, and he goes, "No problem."
Thank you, buddy. And he just double thumbs up as he backs out.
A kid stands up on their chair some ways away, probably 15 feet. Shen whoosh, points the spirit blade, goes, "Hey, settle down!" The kid immediately starts crying.
Sarah, we need you on.
I'm a priest! Alright, so, Mog, you go back outside.
Big
and-
Kane, is this what it's like? I heard that Kane in MOO was
Mysteries
very
of
much not like
Societies.
yeah,
Yeah,
was very much not like a ferret. Is that what he was like?
a little bit. Probably a little nicer.
Okay.
All right, so I guess Mog's gonna go scuba diving for some fresh coral.
Alright, so Mog goes out, you go scuba diving for some fresh coral, you got your Kusarigama, you're chipping off massive pieces of this huge coral reef, fighting off some sharks. Another sea serpent comes to attack you, but like the sea serpent from before intercepts, explains some things in sea serpent language, and then they both give you thumbs up and swim away. So it's probably the middle of the night. By the time you have these massive nets that you've just been lugging around underwater, you get them all over to the dock. The sea serpent comes back up. Hey, I really appreciate this. We'll share a stipend with you whenever we take down the adventurers. And it winks.
Have fun, not having your dungeon stormed.
Oh, it's great. Don't worry. He takes the nets in his big sea serpent mouth and goes back under.
Mog just gives him away. He's like, friendly bunch. Hope I didn't just send someone to their death.
All right.
Or be the instrument of someone's death. And he just,
So that was the
Alright.
third game. That's going to level up our service to 3.
Hey.
let's see.
Coral fittings. And Shen as a flex bouncer. Alright. So this is the
let's-
final wear and tear. And then we're all leveled up to 4 out of 4. And I'm going to say that ends the game.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna swap out my last adventure thing for shit. Did I just close Mog's sheet? No, I didn't. Okay. So brute strength is going to become brute strength.
Big, strong moose glaze.
Muscles. Oh yes. I can feel them getting stronger from the pump. No, brute strength is going to become structure. because he knows how to build sturdy organizations and structures
Out of coral.
out of coral.
All right, so
He learned a thing or two with working with these sea serpents and building their freaking conniving adventure-killing trap dungeon.
all right, so the wear and tear this time is gonna be. Anybody got any ideas? What do we need to fix up?
Maybe a. Well, we already did a Kraken attack. I was
So let's
thinking
see.
either a
What about
natural
tropical storm?
Yeah, either a tropical storm or a pirate attack.
Ooh, yeah, big tropical storm where everybody has to take shelter in the inn, and we have to accommodate way more people than normal.
All right.
So since it's the last event, probably everybody should play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I've been watching the clouds and the weather pattern and the ocean patterns and stuff, and it seems like a big storm's on the way, guys.
Shen looks at Mog and says, I'll go run a ritual real fast. And he runs into his ritual room.
All right. I'll herd the local folk, set up some beacons, make sure that people know that this is a shelter zone.
Yeah. Oh darn. Okay, so the dock. Oh yeah, the sea serpents. The sea serpents you told us about. They did the thingy that they made a little canal that leads into the lagoon in the middle of the for the ships, right? So we could accommodate more of them. Maybe we should open that up to let ships come into the island more, so they wouldn't be destroyed and stuff.
I'm on it.
Alright, so you guys go about your duties, and sure enough, people herd in as if the tavern's the only storm shelter for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. And sure enough, that's exactly what it is. And it's not just people in here. You've got the dungeon monsters herded up in here too, just taking shelter. Some of them talking to some of the adventurers, even though they're probably going to be going at each other's throats in a couple days. The big dungeon boss himself, a big half Sahajin, half man, ex-pirate. He walks in, he goes up to Moggy and says, "Hey man, personally from me to you, I really appreciate this. Like, this dungeon, it'd be too noob friendly if we were to suffer all the damage from this storm that's coming in. We're just not, we can't go through this again, man. And like, the salty spittoon's really saving our butts here." Yeah, he bows, gives you a couple coins out of my own pocket. It'll take it out of the loot table, but you know, whatever. And he goes over and he sits down at one of the long tables.
I'll light some fires on. I'll go light some fires on the beach. I mean, honestly, it should gather a few more or play things before things start turning.
Leo looks up. "Oh, that reminds me. I can I still can't do the fucking voice. Robert, play Leo.
That reminds me, I can. Wait,
That reminds me, I can go light the light tower.
That reminds me, I'll go light the light tower.
But will it be okay? And
I will be fine.
Tara just looks at Mira when she asks this.
Shen nods. I'm pretty sure Leo has more lifting strength than any storm does.
He didn't die from a, like 1,000 feet fall. He'll be.
1,000 feet tall?
Alright, so Leo
Oh, yeah.
Leo goes outside, and an hour later he comes back in completely dry, and he's like, "All done!"
All done.
Shen goes over.
Even
Why-
the rain doesn't touch.
"Why are you all dry?"
Why is he dry?
"I don't know. Why is he dry, Robert?"
Well, the storm came blowing at me, so I just took a swing of my axe and just guided in the other direction.
Ah, makes sense. He looks at the screen and he winks, and then he goes back into his ritual room. Shen had done it.
Okay. What? What?
So, after everyone's accommodated, they're all very well fed, very impressed with the Salty Spittoon's level of accommodation and its unbiased approach to taking in literally everybody, including the denizens of the nearby dungeon. Food levels up, or food's already at 4 out of 4. Atmosphere levels up to 4 out of 4. Service levels up to 4 out of 4. And now we play the final game, which is all the way at the end, in the rhythm of things. Time passes, rough edges are sanded down. Before you know it, life in town has become like breathing. You gather in your favorite part of the tavern and wonder where the time has gone. Setup. This is the last game everyone plays. Everyone describe a habit that your character has picked up from living in this town to start. Then proceed to ending questions. So let's do the habits first. So everyone's sitting at a table near the hearth, probably. Right? Is there any quirky places you guys want to go?
I mean, sounds like the most traditional, so.
Great. Shen takes a big sigh and he says, "You know, I lost my kunai again."
Again? This is the third time this week.
Well, priest doesn't use them much, and that's mostly all I've been doing, so.
How's that enlightenment been coming along for you, Shen?
It's been going really well, actually. I can actually stop my breathing enough to reach some level of, he air quotes, nirvana, but I'm not sure how legitimate it is.
I'm sure you had someone looking out for you.
Hey, if this doesn't work out, I can always be a bouncer with you, right?
As for me, well, he lifts up his forearms and he no longer has the Kusarigama attached to them. Well, but he still has the chains though. I guess I'm back to square one, though kind of walking a different path. Not so much a war path, more of a very belligerent peace path.
Shen takes a swig of his red rum mambo, looks at Mira. What about you? You glad you joined us? Separated from that nasty group you were with?
I heard about the story that Mog told about that hunter one time, and I feel like that could have been me. Anyway, I've been working out more often, and didn't really get a chance to back at the academy with all the studying.
Shen's eyebrows shoot up and he goes, "Do you want to be my push-up partner?"
Oh.
Trust me, working out, it's always better with a buddy. And that way, you get a spotter for free, right?
Yeah.
He looks at Mog. "You know as well as I do. These bodies don't come naturally." And then he flexes.
Mog
Some
also
come
does a
naturally.
flex.
Alright, so questions. Take turns asking each other questions. The person asked is the next person to ask someone a question. Come up with your own or use the questions below. The game is over when everyone has been asked twice. So Shen looks over to Tara and says, "So, what's the hardest part of staying in one place for you?"
Oh, gosh, actually staying in one. Very weird. I've always been traveling around and I'm still not quite used to it, but I think I'm finally getting there. I'm getting used to it. I like having you guys around, but there's still this itching to go somewhere else. And she's at Mog says, So where's your favorite place on this island?
Well, there's a few places. You know, there's that soft patch of sand over on the northeastern coast. There's the old lighthouse on the Cape. But I think the most outstanding place is this little tavern. Fantastic. They call it the Salty Spoontail.
Aww.
Never heard it.
I make a shower of confetti appear as he said.
Shen
says that.
smiles and wipes away a tear that isn't there.
Let's see. Tara's been asked a question. By
So now
Shen.
Mog asks a question to anybody.
He looks Mira up and down. Wait, Mira's been asked a question, right?
No, she hasn't.
Nope.
Only Tara.
Oh, okay. He looks Mira up and down. So, how's life being outside the walls of big old fancy magical institute?
Oh, much better actually. I expected them more like it sounds a little weird considering how busy our days are, especially now. But I feel more relaxed than now for some reason.
Wait, I have the
More like
perfect song.
More like I guess. Aww.
Alright, keep going.
Oh, that was it. I finished.
Oh, okay. You ask someone a question now.
Okay. Well, on the subject of getting outside, like, is getting outside and doing all this, what is how was like I heard that you guys were involved have adventuring experiences in the past. Just you do you think this taking on this tavern was new? New, especially you, Tara. You sound like you had quite the experiences before for this.
Oh, well, your time with you guys is definitely a new experience, but I gotta say, I've had experience leading and running things, so that probably helped us a little long run. I gotta say, I like this much fucking better though. Much less political.
Shen raises a glass. Alright, Tara asks someone a question.
Let's see. I'll go with. So, Jen, I should ask, what do you not miss about all the bullshit we went through?
The glass Shen is drinking from cracks a little bit, but not enough for any liquid to escape, and he sets it down. What don't I miss? Well, there certainly was a lot of running around, wasn't there? I think this is the longest I've ever spent in a single building, even out of any of them in the Mist Village. I know Koga would love this place. And he takes another sip.
We should invite him. Tara raises her glass to that.
Koga's got other shit to sort through. You know, Mog, I'm glad you let us get you out of those caves there, but to put down fighting altogether, maybe you fancy yourself more in the mentor role here in this tavern, or what exactly do you think of us?
He looks around and says, you know, I was
They're
back
kind
in my prime again, I'd probably, you know, I could do worse. I could do worse. Like accidentally blow up an entire town square worse, but
I think
Shen looks at Mira. I feel like there's a backstory to that.
well, I can't say I did any better. I mean, I blew up our magical archive myself.
no. I don't think I could really replace you guys after all this.
Shen wipes away.
But
Shen wipes away a very real tear.
Aw.
it's been a year, but it's been quite a busy year. He's gonna look towards.
So Mira and Shen need one more.
All right. He's gonna look to Shen. Don't suppose that lass ever came back through the doors, did she?
Did she?
Not according to the die roll.
I'm asking Robert.
She did not.
Shen picks up the drink, takes a sip, puts it back down. He's looking at the table. Plenty of fish, Mog.
Like Leo.
Pat him on. Mira pats him
Uh,
on the cheek.
Shen looks terrified at the prospect. No, not like Leo. Very, very hopefully not like Leo.
Mog also
Got the white
gives him a
hair.
good.
Where's
Mog
Leo?
also
I
gives
haven't
Shen a
s-
good pat on the shoulder. He's got more
Where's
guts than the
Leo
rest of
anyway?
us.
I don't know about that. You saw fit to teach a ninja how to pray. And he gives Mog a thankful nod of the head. Mira, I think out of all of us, in the beginning you were the least acquainted. How willing were you to just drop everything like you did? How well have you acclimated? Do you ever think you're gonna go back?
Well, definitely not now. I did before, but it was like, I mean, I kind of got forced into a situation I didn't want to with that rowdy crew, and well, I mean, I guess I should go back and do some, and at least tell everyone that I'm still alive or something, but.
That's what letters are for, right? You don't gotta leave.
Letters are for. Why would I want to? Why do I want to leave to go back to that when I have this? You guys.
That's right. And Shen raises his glass to the salty spittoon.
Salty spittoon.
Ting! Game.
Dude.
Game over.
Aww.
That was so much fun!
That really was like I gotta say, Wyatt he picked a good